Okay, everybody, we've been busy doing a lot of different things today, and we just really haven't produced a whole lot of content. However, I was starting to watch a video on marketing for 2025 and the strategy that is going to revolutionize ads. And here's some advanced degree information, which I like to call life school. It doesn't matter if you are a marketing genius or someone who just has a creative pinky, you will learn something in this conversation. So here we go. How to actually build brand versus building an image or a brand. See, Coca-Cola actually built a brand, and then an image came along, and it kind of like fluctuated on the image being personal, which is actually what brand building is, because that becomes individually relatable to each individual versus this nonsense bullshit of some woman trying to show off her tits and her vagina. Then you want to say actually build brand. So your relationship has nothing to do with anyone else, and people are waking up to the reality of how they've been duped for the last 4 years because no one gives a shit that you're in a relationship with someone else. We got our own concerns and our own fucking problems, and it actually hinders our existence to watch your ass pose with some bitch or with some pussy ass man so that you can look cool in your own image of yourself. So think about that for a second when we're looking at these women, when they're posting boobs, bikinis, and bragging about their suitcase they're packing that has absolutely nothing to do with you. However, in their mind, that's their brand. Attached to words like functional medicine. The next thing I want to come into is, does anyone hear it? Meaning, you could look at it in the linear aspect of hearing something like, for example, I'm sitting in a room with no one here except for, get over here. Get over here. Except for Gertie. Gertie wants to say hi. So the only person that's listening to me speak right now is this cat. However, that could also be the only the only thing that ever hears the words that are coming out of my mouth. That's what people thought about when Gary Vee said on his platform, if nobody hears what you're saying. However, you could be speaking a mile a minute, like all these typewriter talkers like Melissa Wood. You could be sitting there with your microphone. You could be goofing off like Valeria. And nobody hears anything you're saying. They're just literally sitting there because they want to be in like Flynn to the cool club. However, that club isn't really very cool. So all of these people are sitting in front of Mona Van listening to her yap your jaw, except they're kind of like in La La Land and Daydream World thinking, how much longer until this shit's over? Not to mention she cannot grab the attention of an audience because she doesn't actually like what she's doing, which means that she just likes to hear herself yap and occur as if she's a public speaker when she's just a fucking Persian. That's it. What if the creative doesn't convert? Well, that depends on what your goal in life is. Is your goal in life to appease the masses and to fit in with the group that you're trying to portray a brand and image to? To get people to like you? Or are you grounded in foundation of a subject matter, whether it's something that would be considered creative? Because this is the problem with most people, is they don't stand for shit. That means they fall for anything, which means that everything that they represent as a human, it disappears. So they're called sellouts. So what we're seeing with Gary Vaynerchuk as he sells himself to the fucking devil is he doesn't have conviction in who he is as a person. That's the demonstration of the platform. He did not stand for family. That's the definition of a fucking sellout. She literally shows you how she's not humble, and then he says humble. You cannot say that you are humble and then go with someone who shows off a diamond ring as a brand and an image. while you then get jobs and brands and questions about your fiance where you consistently bring that bitch up and call it an ad. That's unethical, illegal, and completely immoral. So your creative doesn't convert. It actually steers your public away from your content because you sold out. There are many aspects to the conversation around creative doesn't convert because what you thought is purchasing a product, but everything that has to do with a brand and an image has everything to do with whether people, it's not even whether they like you, whether they're respecting you, or whether you are giving them information. Are you a mentor? Are you standing for the thing that, it's like the thing. You have to be attached to the thing of a subject, of a tangible thing, or information as a tangible scientific matter. Otherwise, it's just gossip, drama, and bullshit, and that never converts. Volume, creative doesn't convert. Volume, sellout, expectation, always be true to yourself. Being true to yourself is just putting out content of creativity that is from a education, from it's boring. Either the information's boring or you're boring, or the person's boring and the information is boring and there's no interest, and then who gives a shit because you're interested. See, these people have no interest in any of this shit. They're just selling nonsense. They just look for nonsense. They're just looking for nonsense. How can I sell nonsense to a bunch of people who have no brain? And then you still stay fat, and then they live off the energy of worship, which makes them skinny, while they sell you on a brand and an image, but they don't use the brand and the image. Volume. Does it reach enough people? Sell out. Are you selling out to Coconut Cult to be part of the Cool Club? Or is Coconut Cult selling out for the Cool Club? That means Coconut Cult is not a brand you want to buy because they're all trying to sell it to you. And that is really important. It's not nutritional because I'm looking at the person selling it and I know that person can't be trusted. They're not humble. And now you've developed a whole cult of people who cannot be trusted. So you're looking at volume of bot imaging. Creative doesn't convert. Bots telling them how wonderful they are. They're really not selling any product, and they're hoping that eventually that they'll hit a tipping point where people will start getting interested based off the fact that this brand and image of marketing is who you're dating. Because that's how they live their life, and they think that everyone thinks like that. But they're from LA, from weird ass cultures, or from New York City, who are shallow, low class, and low energy, but they occur as if they're just rich. That's it. That's what they do in the yoga business. Risk of creative. Risk of creative. Yeah, risk, define it. What do you think the risk of creative is? Being embarrassed? Losing fans and followers? Embarrassing the brand? If you are putting out content with good intention, with scientific facts, with creative outlets, with story, with a lot of different functional humanity characteristics to the content of the creative, then you should never have to worry about a risk, except there's a risk, which means that you're grounded and strong in who you are as a person, and that's where each marketer should base their businesses off of, not in what the audience needs. That's not why people pay. Understand what I just said, and you'll understand the mistake of every influencer out there. People don't pay to go around and look at everybody doing the same thing. People pay because they want to see uniqueness. They want to see risk of creative. They want to judge. They want to judge. They want to have an outlet to get them thought-provoked or inspired in their own life, not to watch two fuckers sit on a stage and talk about themselves. I think no, we don't give a fuck. We don't like you. We don't fucking like any of y'all's dumb motherfucking asses. And now we're going to stop part 1 of this video and move on to part 2 because I have a lot of information I wrote down.